Hey, it's Alexander. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what happened that one time 4 years ago when I very nearly closed down my business and started another business instead. I've been running this business for 5 years. There's no freaking way I'm going to stop anything. But back then, there was one time when I very nearly did it. And that was the summer of 2015. Here's what happened. I was in a nightclub and it was in Finland, I think, back then. And I was just sitting there or standing and I thought, man, everyone's having fun here. And I just can't disconnect. I just can't unplug from this stress that the business is causing me because I was doing sales calls myself and all kinds of stuff. So I was completely plugged into the business. It was basically 90% of the work was being done by me and not someone else. And I did not know how to solve that. And I didn't know how to solve just me constantly feeling stress. And I even ended up in the hospital once, had like a little issue from too much stress. And I didn't know how to deal with it because no one really talks about this at all. It's just like, suddenly you have an issue in your business and how do you solve it? You just figure it out. So what I ended up doing was I figured out that I didn't have any principles that I adhered to in my business that were solid fundamentals for me to build my business on. So I just had these platitudes that I listened to from random books, from random YouTube channels, like follow your passion and like your whatever, like what was it back then? It was complete nonsense, basically, right? Just platitudes instead of principles. That was basically what it came down to. I didn't know how to build my business based on strong principles, how to choose these principles. And I'd been just lazy with that, to be honest. And that's because I was running from fire to fire that I was extinguishing one after the other instead of actually building something. Instead of building something new, I was just running around and extinguishing fire after fire. I went home and I sat down and I read books by philosophers. I read books by people that are not business people. And I try to understand why I felt that way, like why I was anxious and why I felt like I couldn't take doing that type of business anymore. And then I figured out that I was doing it mostly to help other people. So it was like, I'm doing it for someone else. I'm doing it for someone else. I'm doing it for someone else. In and of itself, there's nothing really wrong with running a business for other people because, you need to get agreement from people before they give you money. You're not going to like steal it or anything like that. So, but what I was doing wrong is I was too focused on this and I was not taking care of myself and what I needed and what I wanted to feel excited about the business, which is equally important, if not more so, than what clients think. In fact, it's definitely more important than what clients think. Because if the person running the business, if the head of the business is not happy and is not performing well, there's no way the clients are going to get a good experience. Is just not possible, or a good product or service. What I ended up doing was I took some tactical and strategic business decisions, which don't really matter too much, to be honest. But what did matter was why I took those decisions, because I reevaluated the reasons why I'm running the business, and I reevaluated the principles that I was focused on and the principles that I was using to make decisions, essentially. So the underlying reasons for the decisions. And after the decisions were easy, it was easy to take decisions that are right for my business and for me at that point and moving forward, because I reevaluated what I was doing and why I was doing it. And furthermore, I created a new framework for how to make decisions better. And at the top of it was, does this make me as the business owner more successful, more happy, more productive, and so on, right? That's the most important thing. And after that, of course, I made sure clients are happy and so on. And after that, I made sure that employees, freelancers, everyone else was happy and getting results and learning and so on. So that was more or less the priority letter that I set for myself. And what I ended up doing was I threw away all those work hard, don't cause problems, like all those old platitudes from jobs. But I also threw away the work harder, work smarter, network more, offer value, reach more people, hire the right people, etc. I threw away those blobs of random advice that I was attempting to follow randomly. And I just sat down and started making decisions for myself based on what's good for me in the business. And once I was engaged and fully committed and really using my own brain and solving problems instead of running around like a headless chicken, suddenly it was very easy to solve everything. So, for example, I switched to a single offer, and I switched to, because I used to try all these like little offers and all these little info products and whatever, waste of time basically. And I increased prices, but I switched to single offer, and I made it really, really good so that people get results fast. That way they don't leave, they stick around. Another thing is, I stopped talking to people that were broke, were not interested in buying. Okay, I stopped talking to shoppers, or I stopped trying to convince people to buy and all that kind of stuff. Instead, I've just started focusing on people that are interested in what I'm selling, and they're gonna buy, and they have money, and they're smart, and I actually like talking to them and dealing with them as I'm delivering a service to them or a product. That's basically what I started doing. And this changed everything. Once I started doing that, people got better results, clients stuck around for longer, they send me all kinds of referrals and so on. So everything in my business instantly improved as I created a foundation of strong principles for my business. That's what also a lot of my content has been about lately. So if you watch the live streams from last week, or if you read a lot of the posts, I am talking about these principles. So stay tuned. We're going to cover them in great detail as time goes on. And we already have started doing so. So take a look at my posts from the last few days. Take a look at the ones that are coming up tomorrow, the day after, and so on. So thank you for watching. If you're interested in solving this type of problem in your business, by the way, if you're stuck and things don't seem to be growing, or you're just fed up with your business, it just isn't what you thought it would be, or you just feel overwhelmed or stressed, or worse yet, anxious, then reach out to me. I know how to solve this. I will help you in private chat, or maybe some other way. I'll figure out how to help you. So thanks for watching, and see you in tomorrow's live stream.